Hi guys, Yvette Cooper is not a fool, so it was very frustrating when she was interviewed during Labour conference by Radio 4 about a possible deal with the European Union regarding a youth mobility scheme. She misrepresented not just the concept, but the EU's position on it. Now this is at a time when immigration levels are dropping following idiotic policies by the Tories, but also that there's a massive shortage of workers in sectors like healthcare and social care, not to mention hospitality and agriculture. Why this stubbornness?
Net migration is going to come down anyway. Can you see a point where you look at the numbers and you think, look, this is actually politically acceptable now to say, yes, Germany and France and Italy, let's have a youth mobility scheme so that young people can move between the UK and the EU?
We don't think this is the right approach. I understand from the EU point of view, they see this in the context of free movement. But the UK...
No. They do not see this in the context of free movement. This has nothing to do with free movement. Now, once again, I keep saying that Yvette Cooper is not a fool, but she's pretending to be a fool, it seems, because free movement and the youth mobility scheme are completely different. The youth mobility scheme would be a maximum of 4 years, and it's limited to the ages of 18 to 30. How is that freedom of movement? It's not even immigration, because once again, people are limited for the amount of time they can stay, and it's limited to a certain demographic or a certain age group. It's not freedom of movement. Stop calling it freedom of movement. The EU doesn't consider it freedom of movement. Nobody considers it freedom of movement, apart from you, it seems.
UK voted to leave free movement. We are not going back into free movement in the same way that we've said as part of
what's being proposed, of course, they say is not free movement, but you're saying there is no way.
They are seeing this in the context of their free movement. And I understand that. That's for the EU to decide. But the UK has left free movement. We made a decision to do that. We're not going back into that. And we did make that very clear as part of the manifesto. So there's lots of other ways we can work really closely with the EU,
so
including on cooperation.
People don't hold out any hope there's going to be any change to your ability to go.
We're trying to set up this new approach to the labour market, where you've got Skills England working really closely with the Migration Advisory Committee, working really closely with the Industrial Strategy Council, working really closely across the board to have a proper positive approach to how we support the labour market.
How you stay and work in the UK.
How we make the economy grow, how we make the economy grow successfully and don't simply depend continually on increasing overseas visas.
Okay. Once again, this is really frustrating. I don't understand this stubbornness. You know, we could sort of excuse this before the general election because Labour were afraid, look, if we don't appear tough on immigration, we'll lose the red wall. We'll lose racists and bigots. But the election is over. You have a massive majority. You could easily push for an agreement on this policy. I really don't understand this. Because if you want to grow the economy, you need workers. The rhetoric seems to be, we don't need foreign workers, we can train up our own. But if you want to train up your own, that costs huge amounts of money and it takes time. Now, she mentioned here, we're going to have different organizations, different parts of government work together. Okay. But your rhetoric is constantly, we're not bringing back freedom of movement. We're going to maintain Tory policies that were anti-immigration. For example, the cap on people bringing dependents with them, or the restriction on people bringing dependents with them, for example, students or those coming to the care sector. That has turned off foreign students and it has reduced immigration. So in sectors where you need workers, you're still supporting a Tory policy that is telling people, don't come here. And you're saying we need to fix that. Are you going to get rid of that policy? Well, there's no mention of it so far. I would imagine it would have been one of the first things you do as a new government. Get rid of a policy that is discouraging people from coming to Britain to work in sectors where you actually need workers. This is nonsensical. Are Labour still stuck in the pre-election mode? We need to keep immigration down because some people think it's a bad thing. People have been convinced that it's a bad thing and ignore the fact that you need workers to grow your economy. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.